Hey YouTube, Ed here with Jack of All Trades, and welcome to another video. So I'm going to do something today that's a little bit out of my comfort zone, and it's not something I normally do, but I think it needs to be said. We are going to dispel 10 myths about the AR-15. With all the media coverage that we're seeing nowadays with the mass shootings and everything like that, and this huge push by the politicians and the media to ban weapons like this, the AR-15, and keep them out of possession of law-abiding citizens, I think we need to address it. And I'm not talking about myths that just the anti-gun community are spreading. There's also plenty of bullcrap that's being spread around by the pro-gun community as well. And if we're going to fight for our rights, we need to take the moral high ground, and we actually need to be honest about how we argue about and how we discuss about gun ownership. With that, let's go ahead and let's get this video started. So before we get started on this video, I just want to say that nothing in this video that I'm telling you today is intended to be a call to violence or intending to incite violence in any way, shape, or form. It's simply presenting facts. And that's what we need more of these days. We've got the talking heads, we've got the politicians, and we got the anti-gun left who know absolutely nothing about what they're talking about. And we also have some unscrupulous individuals on the right who very much know what they're talking about, but skew the facts to make their position look more favorable. I have no respect for any of those people. So everything in this video is not intended to incite violence. It's just intended to provide you with some facts. Myth number one, and this is a myth that the anti-gun community like to spread around, that AR and the AR-15 stands for assault rifle. Well, that is 100% incorrect. AR actually stands for Armalite rifle. There was a gentleman by the name of Eugene Stoner. He invented the AR-15 for the military for use in combat, and he worked for a company called Armalite. And it wasn't until the design rights were sold to Colt that the AR-15 was later designated as the M16, and then later on down the line as the M4. So the anti-gun community likes to say AR stands for assault rifle because that makes it far more scarier, and it makes it more like we should probably get rid of these things. But in truth and reality, that is not what AR stands for, never has, never will. Anti-gun myth number two, AR-15s are a threat to public safety. This statement is rendered under the misconception that the AR-15 is responsible for most gun deaths in the United States, and that it's the preferred weapon of choice for mass shooters. And this couldn't be further from the truth. So think about mass shootings as you know them. Most people consider a mass shooting an event that is involving a firearm where an individual walks into a public place like a school or a church or a movie theater or grocery store and opens fire and thusly injures or kills dozens of people. We know about these events because the media and the politicians like to sensationalize them, and we have 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week coverage on them, all in an effort to try and pass additional gun legislation to take firearms like this out of your hands and get them out of circulation. Politicians also like to play a numbers game when they're stating these facts.
We lose 93 million Americans a day to gun violence. I mean, I've long talked about this.
Numbers like in 2019 there were 417 mass shootings in the United States. And these are actual numbers as reported by the GVA, or the Gun Violence Archive. What they're not telling you is that the Gun Violence Archive identifies a mass shooting as a shooting that involves injuring or killing 4 or more people. This means that every drive-by shooting, gang shooting, gun or drug deal gone bad, or murder-suicide that involves 4 or more people is put down into the archive as a mass shooting. While you're thinking about that, think about this. In 2021, there were 3,571 gun-related incidents in the city of Chicago alone. That's 9.75 incidences per day involving a gun. Odds would be pretty good that of those 10 incidences a day, there's going to be 4 or more people involved in that shooting. What you're also not hearing is that since 1985, of all the mass shootings that are on record, only 49 of them involved a rifle. And of those 49, like 5% of those involved a rifle that was semi-automatic in nature, like the AR-15. All this does is it shows you that the anti-gun community is being disingenuous at best when reporting these numbers, all in an attempt to scare people into giving up some of their rights and passing additional gun legislation that has no hope whatsoever of stopping any crime. The anti-gun community uses the Hollywood, they use media, and they use politicians to sensationalize all these crimes. Then they brainwash people into believing that mass shootings are prevalent and that they are rampant in this country, and then secretly and behind your back go ahead and redefine the criteria of a mass shooting to a lower number so that they can skew those numbers and make people think that AR-15s and weapons as like an AR-15 are responsible for most of the killings in this country. You are being intentionally lied to so that they can pass legislation and agendas that meet their needs. Anti-gun myth number 3. AR-15 ammunition explodes or tumbles on impact.
And explode inside that body, correct?
No, I don't think so.
This is 100% false. The 5.56 NATO ammunition is also not designed to tumble. No ammunition is ever designed to tumble. Tumbling bullets are inaccurate bullets. Anti-gun myth number 4. The AR-15 is not a good hunting rifle because it's inaccurate and it's hard to use.
But an AR-15 is not for hunting. It's for killing.
Well, how do you hunt, asshole?
This is completely bunch of crap. The AR-15 is actually an excellent hunting rifle because it is accurate and it is easy to use. And that's why the military adopted it in the first place, because it's accurate and it's easy to use. Also, in addition to that, it has a very, very light recoil and it's light in the hand to carry, which is the very reason why people like my daughter love to hunt with the AR-15, because she's 110 pounds soaking wet with a rock in her pocket, and it's a very easy rifle for her to handle and carry. I personally use an AR-15 to hunt coyotes, deer, varmints. I've seen AR-15s used to hunt hogs, elk, caribou, mountain lions, and even on occasion, moose. This kind of a statement is made by the ignorant and uninformed individuals who just look for any kind of an argument whatsoever to justify why they don't think you need to have an AR-15. Anti-gun myth number 5. The AR-15 is most responsible for gun violence in this country, and this is just a complete lie. This statement is so false it's not even funny. All you need to do is go and look in the FBI database, going back as many years as you want to, going up to current years now, to find out that actually handguns are far more responsible for gun violence than AR-15s ever would be. In fact, it is 19 times more likely that a handgun is going to be used in a gun-related crime than an AR-15. And there's very good reason for that. AR-15s are not easy to conceal. They're not easy to hide because of their size, and they're just not very practical for doing crimes. You can very easily conceal a handgun such as this in the belt of your pants and with a heavy jacket and get away with it, as opposed to carrying something like this, which weighs about 8 pounds and is almost 30 inches in overall length and extremely hard to conceal. All right, now we're going to get into some pro-gun myths regarding the AR-15 and weapons in general. And this is likely going to tick a few of you off, but if we're going to have this fight, we need to take the moral high ground here, and we at least need to be truthful in what we're talking about. Pro-gun myth number 1. The AR-15 is not a weapon of war. Actually, yes, it is a weapon of war. It was designed by Armalite for the military to be used in combat, so thusly it is a weapon of war. And in all actuality, if you want to get nitpicky about it, all guns are weapons of war. Every gun. Guns were not invented for hunting, target shooting, or even personal defense. Guns were invented so that the military had a more effective way of killing their enemies. So in reality, all guns are a weapon of war. This gun right here is a 1903 Springfield. This was the primary issue weapon for foot soldiers in World War II for the United States. This is a weapon of war. It's an obsolete weapon of war because now we have more advanced and modern firearms, but this is, in fact, a weapon of war, and to say anything other is wrong. 1911 shoots .45 auto. This was the primary sidearm for foot soldiers in World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and actually this was the sidearm that I initially began to be involved with when I joined the military in 1989. These weapons were still in circulation. They are a weapon of war. You can't say in one breath, the Second Amendment is in place to suppress tyranny, and I need weapons such as these to do that, and then in the next breath say an AR-15 is not a weapon of war. That's called hypocrisy, folks. Pro-gun myth number 2. The AR-15 really isn't all that dangerous because it's basically a .22. This is actually a half-truth. The bullet that comes out of an AR-15, typically, if it's chambered in 5.56 NATO or 223, does expel a projectile that is .22 caliber or .22 inches in diameter. This is the same diameter bullet that comes out of what is commonly referred to as a .22 or a .22 long rifle. This is a 5.56 cartridge for an AR-15. This is the cartridge for a .22 long rifle, and you can see they are very different in size, shape, and subsequently power. The bullet that comes out the end, or the projectile, is the same diameter, .22 inches. However, the AR-15 bullet exits the barrel at a much, much higher muzzle velocity. Therefore, the terminal ballistics and the downrange energy that the AR-15 bullet produces far exceeds that of a .22 long rifle or the .22. So to say that an AR-15 is basically the same as a .22 is purely a lie. You just cannot say that in the same breath and actually be serious. The AR-15 at the end of the day is a rifle, and yes, it is dangerous no matter how you look at it. But that's the point. If the AR-15 wasn't dangerous, just like any other gun is dangerous, they wouldn't be able to do their job. And that is the entire point of having a firearm in the first place. Pro-gun myth number 3. The AR-15 is totally different than the M16 or the M4 military rifle. No, it's not. Other than the fact that the M16 has the capability to go fully automatic and the M4 has the capability to use 3-round burst, the AR-15, the M4, and the M16 are virtually identical. There is very, very little difference. The buttstocks, the handguards, the lower receiver, the upper receiver, the handguard up front, the barrels, the charging handle, the bolt, the dust cover, everything right down to the magazines and the ammunition that they shoot are identical. The only differences between the two is the select fire to be able to have the capability of going full auto or burst mode. Other than that, the AR-15s are identical. The parts are even interchangeable. That's where the word mil-spec came from, or the terminology mil-spec came from. To say that they are not even close to the same is just an intentional distraction and misdirection. Pro-gun myth number 4. The AR-15 cannot be converted to full auto. And that's, again, not true. That's 100% not true. You can convert the AR-15 to full auto with just a few parts. It doesn't take much to do it. And if you have a little bit of knowledge and some basic hand tools, you can actually manufacture those parts at home. The problem is that it is extremely illegal. If you get caught, it's a federal felony, and they got a really nice little brick room for you to stay in Leavenworth that they're just willing to throw you into. It is highly illegal to convert them to fully automatic. Now, the thing that I really like about this conversation is that this is the point where the anti-gun people come in and say, see, there, you proved my point. We need to get rid of AR-15s because the criminals can convert them to full auto. There's a whole myriad of guns out there that criminals can convert to full auto. And honestly, if a criminal is willing to ignore federal law and risk federal imprisonment by converting an AR-15 to full auto, do you really think that they're going to care about your gun ban or your gun laws? They're not gonna. Not whatsoever. Oh no, I'm a criminal. I can't have an AR-15 anymore because it's illegal to have in my possession.
Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Hey, think would fly.
It doesn't work that way. Truth be told, parts to convert an AR-15 actually to a full auto machine gun actually used to be commercially available. You used to be able to buy them. All you had to do was go through a background check, you had to pay your tax stamp, and you had to purchase the parts and install them into your rifle. But in 1986, that all went the way of the dodo. In 1986, Congress passed legislation, and Ronald Reagan signed it into law, saying that from 1986 on, no company could any longer commercially produce parts to convert rifles to fully automatic or to produce machine guns unless you had a manufacturing license, an FFL with a Class 2 SOT, and then even then, if you did have that, you couldn't sell them unless it was to another dealer who had that same license, or to the military, or to a government agency like the FBI or the police. So it used to be that you could actually buy the parts over the counter, but they are now impossible to find. If you do find them, they are many thousands of dollars. In fact, they're so expensive that Elon Musk would even wince at the cost of owning one. I did manage to find an M16A2 online that you could purchase, had full auto capability, and if you had the licensing, it was fully transferable for a mere $53,000. So if you want that rifle, you better start working some overtime and putting some money away because it's not going to come cheap. And that brings us to our last myth. Machine guns are already illegal to own. Actually, no, they're not. It is perfectly legal to own a machine gun, and the machine guns that are currently in circulation out there, which are called transferable machine guns, they're perfectly legal for you to own. The big difference is that you need to go through a background check, and you need to get the proper licensing and permission from the government to own one. And then two, if you do find them for sale, they are so expensive that people generally can't afford them, as I just alluded to in the last myth. And there you have it, 10 myths about the AR-15 by both the pro-gun and anti-gun community. Now, I got to give some credit to the Defenders and Disciples YouTube channel. I didn't come up with this concept on my own. They actually did a video, the 6 myths. I just expanded a little bit because I thought they missed a few. But I did use some of their information to make this video and pass it along to you. So I want to make sure I give them due credit. I will put the link to their channel down below in my description. I urge you to go over there and check them out as well. I just wanted to get some factual information out there because every time I turn on the news and I hear one of these talking heads on the major news networks, either be it right or left, they always seem to get the information wrong.
Take a look at this video used to shoot a watermelon using an AR-15.
And I have yet to see a politician come onto TV and give us correct information. Everything that comes out of their mouth is a pile of steaming crap. And this is proof.
This right here has ability with a 30 caliber clip to disperse with 30 bullets within half a second. 30 magazine clip in half a second.
We have federal regulations and state laws that prohibit hunting ducks with more than 3 rounds, and yet it's legal to hunt humans with 15-round, 30-round, even 150-round magazines.
If I wanted to fire this on full semi-automatic,
90% of the time I have no idea what the I'm talking about. Let's get serious here.
But that would ban most pistols. That would ban most...
No, but pistols are different. You have to pull the trigger each time. An assault weapon, you basically hold it, goes...
It's the availability of a double-barrel magazine extended clips. Double-barrel magazine extended clips. Double-barrel magazine extended clips.
And it's statements like that that make those people look like complete and total idiots. And we all know that they're complete and total idiots. With that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do enjoy this video and you do like this kind of content, please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button down below. Make sure you ring that notification bell. You get notified of upcoming videos. I'm real fast coming up on 5,000 subscribers. We're going to do a 5,000 subscriber giveaway. You're not going to want to miss out on that. And please leave me some comments, leave me some thumbs up, some thumbs down. If I missed something or if I misread or misspoke something, please feel free to correct me. I'm human. I make mistakes just like everybody else. And I want to just thank all of my subscribers and longtime watchers for sticking with me. This is Ed with Jack of All Trades. As always, thank you for riding along, and we'll see you on the next video.